So, who has reinvented themselves? Today, I want us to look at 5 possible famous candidates for reinventioning. Welcome to Reinventing You. My name is Amelia Sims, and I'm on a journey to reinvent myself. I post on Tuesdays and Sundays in the afternoons, and I welcome you to join me on my journey. If reinventing or reinventioning is transforming yourself, whether it's your job, your relationships, your health, then who are some models or who are some mentors that we can look at to help us, or maybe that I can look at to help me on my journey? Now, I've got 5 possibilities today. Not all of these are ones that I would follow. In fact, I think you'll find that at least one is very controversial, the last one, so I hope you'll stay tuned for that one. In the meantime, I hope you will leave a comment below if you disagree with any of those that I have listed today, or if you can suggest others that might be possible candidates for reinventioning, people who have reinvented themselves. I'm actually going to start with the first one who may be considered kind of controversial, Madonna. So Madonna, if you remember, burst on the scene with that little, I guess, what you call it, sex kitten look. Was very controversial, and then she was in a movie, and she was sort of grungy, sort of subway rat kind of person, and then she had the Marilyn Monroe look, and then she came out with Ray of Light, and then later on she was sort of this hip-hop queen. So Madonna has constantly come forth with these images that are very different, and it's a constant thing. So I'm not really sure if she would be considered somebody who has reinvented herself, but if so, she's constantly doing it. And now a lot of other stars, pop stars, do that. Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, all of these different pop stars have sort of followed in the same way. Pop stars nowadays seem to constantly transform themselves, constantly reinvent themselves. And it's more a ploy to get followers and keep people interested, I think, than anything. So can Madonna be considered somebody who has reinvented herself? The next one is Vera Wang. Vera Wang started out wanting to be an Olympic skater. She didn't make the team, so she decided to try something else, and she went into fashion. She worked for Vogue magazine for 20 years as a senior fashion editor, and she left the magazine and went to work for Ralph Lauren. Now, she wasn't designing at the time, but eventually she did. She left Ralph Lauren and started her own company. And nowadays, Vera Wang is not just wedding dresses, but it's other things. She's a famous designer, but she's also you don't have to be really wealthy to get her couture. Joy Behar. Now, she's probably considered just as controversial as anything, but Joy was a junior high English teacher, but then she became pregnant and almost lost her life with the pregnancy. And so she decided to leave teaching and become a comedian. I would consider that some kind of a transformation. And of course, now a lot of people remember her and have heard her on The View, and constantly making all kinds of controversial remarks, usually for politicians. And so she's always in the news for something or other. Susan Boyle. Susan Boyle was a Scottish woman who entered Britain's Got Talent at the age of 47 in 2009. I have a link above so you can see that video. If you've never seen it, it is awesome. She comes out on stage. She looks like this frumpy old woman, kind of housewifey look to her, overweight, and not anything much. And I can't remember what Simon said to her, but you could just tell it was like, oh, okay, please. And then she opened her mouth and sang, and the audience just loves her. So Susan goes on to become famous. Now, looking back, it's obvious she really didn't have any kind of job before this. She took care of her mother up until her mother had died 2 years previously. Her mother was 91. And I think she must have lived under the care of her mother. Now, Susan had a background where when she was in school, she considered to have a learning disability. And so that she was never really given much of a chance. Later on, it's been discovered she actually has Asperger's syndrome, and so just to know what she's done has really kind of impressed me that she has done what she's able to do. I would definitely consider her somebody who has reinvented themselves. Okay, the last one is very controversial, and I know I'm probably going to get a couple of comments on this one. If reinventioning is transforming yourself, then this person has got to fit in that. This person is Caitlyn Jenner. Now, I'm not suggesting that changing your gender is a way to transform yourself, but it is a way to transform yourself. It is a way to reinvent. I mean, what a way to reinvent yourself. The one thing that I have to emphasize here is that there are some boundaries with reinventioning. There are some things that say, okay, I'm going to only go this far, but at the same time, how much courage does it take to really transform yourself? How much courage does it take to reinvent yourself? It takes a lot. And I'm not recommending what Caitlyn did. I'm not recommending what any of these have done today. I'm just sort of putting out there, if we define, or if I define, reinventioning or reinventing as transforming your life, whether it's through your health, through your identity, through your career, through your relationships, where you live, all of those things. If that's how we define it, then we have to really look and see who else is out there. Even if we don't agree with the kind of reinventing they have done for their own lives, we have to say yes or no. And maybe in the process, we can find something that gives us, or namely me, inspiration to transform our own lives, to reinvent ourselves. Okay, I'm looking for those comments below. Let me know. Do you agree with my list? Is there somebody else that you would like to add to the list? And if you have not subscribed, please do so. I want to make sure we're all together on this journey. I hope that you have enjoyed this vlog, and I hope to see you again on Reinventing You on next Tuesday or Sunday. Have a great one and stay well.